My name is Tiffany Grant, and I work as a voice actor and ADR scriptwriter. I got started as a voice actor in February '94. I happened to find out that ADV Films was doing their very first auditions, and I was a theater actor, and a friend of mine heard about the auditions and told me that ADV was having the auditions, and I went down there and tried out, and I got hired. So that's how I got started. My first role was the part of Raina in a show called Guy Double Target. Before going into voice acting, the kind of background that I had as far as training was I'd taken a lot of classes in high school and college, but I never had a degree or anything like that. So it was mostly just high school and college classes, and also work in community theater. That was my background beforehand. In order to work specifically in the anime field as a voice actor, you would have to live actually in the areas where that work is happening. So in the U.S., that's basically Houston, the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and then you have New York and Los Angeles, and there is I think 1 or 2 small studios in North Carolina also. For rookie voice actors, as far as pay goes, there isn't a pay scale. I get paid exactly the same rate as somebody who comes in and it's their very first show, so there's absolutely no difference. Now, pay will vary from company to company on what the rates are. As far as like a good way to go by would be the union scale, the Screen Actors Guild. Their pay scale, I believe it's about $65 an hour for an anime, and to put that in perspective, because it might sound like a lot of money, if you only worked 5 or 6 hours a month, obviously you can't live on that, and that would be very typical that you would only work 5 or 6 hours a month. You could go in and do a radio commercial that would play in New York City, and you could make hundreds of thousands of dollars off of that for working for 10 minutes. So the pay scale for anime voice acting is the lowest on the totem pole. Companies that I would recommend working for, I don't really have a good background to speak to that because I haven't worked for a lot of different companies. I live in Texas, so the companies that I've worked for there as far as anime have been ADV Films and Funimation. I did work for Manga Entertainment. They did the distribution on the Evangelion films, but I don't know which one is the best because I haven't worked for all of them, so I couldn't really say adequately. Besides working in anime, I have also done voices for a couple of video games. I've done quite a few radio commercials. I've done voiceovers for a couple of TV commercials. I've also been in a couple of independent films. I've done a fair amount of stage acting. I do work with a children's theater company. And quite honestly, if there's any kind of acting job out there, I'd probably give it a try. Which form of acting do I most prefer? Oh, they all have their good points. Voice acting is wonderful because there aren't a lot of limiting factors. In other words, I'm 5 feet tall, which might affect me getting a part on camera, but in voice acting it doesn't matter. So a very liberating thing about voice actor is not being limited by my physicality. Then again, stage acting is really great because you have the immediate audience response. I'd probably have to say that if I could only do one thing, I'd probably go with voice acting. Favorite characters that I have voiced and why? I hate to say it, but I can't pick one. My favorite thing about voice acting is that I get to do all sorts of amazing characters that I could never do in real life. Sorry. My favorite character that I haven't voiced is probably Hello Kitty! Yay, Hello Kitty! Let's see, do I ever watch something and say, oh, I wish I had done that differently? You know, I don't know, not so much. I try not to dwell on anything that's negative, because honestly, you can't redo it, so really not so much. I mean, that sounds probably self-centered, but I'm usually pretty happy with it. Advice to theater students who would like to become voice actors. Well, I think getting as much experience as you can in any form of acting is going to benefit you as a voice actor. And you must keep in mind there are a lot of different kinds of voice acting out there, from educational films to video games to anime to Western cartoons. And I think, you know, pursue all of the opportunities that you can, and like I said, be aware that you're going to have to live where that kind of work is. So that's very important.